Hello.
Hello, everyone. I can't tell if this is here.
I'll go check. Let me see.
I'll tell you right now.
Yes. Yes. They can hear it.
There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Future Crusader Missions Christian Warrior Talk.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh. Repeat.
Yeah,
All
sorry.
right.
So, anyways, we are here limping. Holy smokes.
Per
you are watching. Let me
usual at
try
this point.
that
Oh,
again.
you're
Let me try
going
that
to go over.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Patriot Crusader Missions Christian Warrior Talk, Christian Fellowship Show, where we stop what we're doing, no matter how sore and stiff and how tired and limping we are, to invest in one another, come together, learn from our setbacks, to celebrate our victories, and share this crazy Christian homesteading, prepper life. It's flowing tonight.
Strength and honor, Lisa.
Bump it up. Turn that off. Turn this on. So
We'll do it again.
Strength
and honor, Lisa.
Strength and honor.
Sorry we're late, but it was
A Friday. It was a day.
It was a Friday,
Typical day.
and it was it was a challenge to get here. So, but we are here. I'm happy we're here. I'm happy you're here, and thank you so much for caring enough to spend your most valuable resource, which is your time, with us. Again, apologize for being tardy. This show is an adult show, okay? And we have adult beverage. I have adult beverages with the show. Obviously, Lauren's extremely prego, so she does not, right?
What did you call me yesterday?
Big girl.
Big girl.
Yeah, big
Yeah, I was
girl.
like,
Come here, big girl.
That's a real
Yeah, she
real
was
turn
not
on
happy.
there.
Now, Lauren is ripped, except for
But
her
this is not when no
mistake.
not what you say. Pregnant
was a
lady, no matter what
mistake.
shape they're in.
It was a mistake,
You're a big girl.
but her belly. I mean,
It's big.
You're even walking different now. You got to lean back to counter the weight of the belly. Like you're leaning back and go.
It just like I'm at the point where my core no longer is a core.
Yeah.
So it just like if I'm not being very intentional with how I'm holding it, then yeah, I mean it's like it's slouchy.
Yeah. So today, before the show, I'm 2 months on to the wagon of working out, and I'm at that phase where it's very, very. I immediately
backpedaled quickly.
I immediately recanted and set it straight. But I'm at that stage, when you're 51 and you're working out, where the old grizzly bear's in there trying to work out, and my muscles aren't sore.
Strength and honor to that.
Strength and honor.
And so anyways, she knows that I think she's gorgeous and she's the only one for me. And
the game doesn't have to be quite up here anymore after
oh please, you shower. You want to talk about the
I'm just
showering
saying,
situation? You want to talk about game?
I didn't say it's one-sided.
There was a time when there was a cloud that followed you.
Shush.
7+ days without a shower.
I mean, yes, but the summer heat is working in your favor.
Yes. So now she
I'm
goes
forced to shower more
three
frequently.
very stinky days, sweaty days.
I mean, like every other day is the goal.
Strength and honor,
I've
Linda.
even done a couple days in a row.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
But yeah.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
What's that?
What were you were? I don't even know what you were talking about before.
Oh, I was just saying that I was,
Oh, you're
in
working
the
out.
gym working out, and it's not my muscles that are sore. And it's my like tendons and my joints. So, I'm in the gym and my muscles can lift the weight, but it hurts to grab the bar. It hurts to do everything. And today was one of those days where it was, we're working out in a non-climate controlled gym on the hottest day of the year so far at 7 p.m. So it's still like effectively like 91. And it was hard to breathe, just didn't feel right. Everything hurt. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to do it. All right. Because I said I was going to do it and I don't want to quit on myself. But I'm a Justin Fire. So I did lighter weight than I normally do. And took a lot more rest between reps because it was like just everything was gassing, So, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, you did something.
Yeah, and
You're not gonna regret it.
it's also the part where like my diet has been, I'd say my diet's been a 6.5 to 7, right? Meaning that I'm not eating sweets, I'm not eating a bunch of processed stuff, I'm not eating a ton of bad stuff, but I am eating pasta with like my meals because it's cheap and we have it in the house and it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at this point now where I'm packing on muscle, the scale's going up, right? The weight's going up, it's not coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am seeing a shifting, like, the typical top down,
Yeah.
where my shoulders and traps and arms start getting more defined and bigger and all that stuff, but it still sucks.
Little depressing.
Huh?
A little depressing.
Yeah, it still sucks. And all you guys who are over 50 and gals over 50 trying to get back in shape once you've been way out of shape, right? It just sucks. And zucchini pasta is the worst.
He can't buy
The
into the fake pasta thing.
I can't do it. I'd rather buy the pure from Italy, non-inflammation
Or
pasta.
just say this is like meat sauce on green beans, not
Yeah, I'd rather
green
do
bean
meat
noodles.
sauce on green beans than
yeah.
than that. I've done that.
Don't pretend.
I'm hoping to process bacon, and when we process bacon and Pixie, that I'll be able to go carnivore want to do carnivore for 3 months. But if I'm still making progress, poor Gary. Anyone who eats zucchini pretending to be
Strength and honor
noodles
to
really,
Gary.
Strength and
really
honor. Strength and
loves
honor. Strength and honor.
But, trying to get back into shape and throwing around 300, 400 pounds in the gym, I gotta train a different way. I can't pretend that I'm 21 or 35 in the gym again and I can still train the way I used to. I gotta put more rehab, more stretching, more mobility work into it. And I'd love to know anybody out there who's been successful at getting back into what I would call fight shape. If you've been able to do it at 50 after deconditioning severely, how you did it, like what was the best way? Because all the gurus are like 25 and 35. They have no idea.
You haven't come across any
you've got
fitness
like
mentor
I don't
who's
know
been there?
like who's the guy who like trains like a barbarian? He like Liver King, but he's on so much sauce.
Yeah.
Like so much sauce. Like he is monstrous, but he's all meat. And Jordan Peterson is talking about all meat and how none of their joints hurt, nothing else hurts. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the carbs. But I just started getting back into fruit. Like I had some nectarines.
Well,
and
there's a lot of carnivore people who they don't even do the vegetables, but they are willing for whatever reason, to do fruit in the carnivore.
I had some soft nectarines and holy smokes, was it awesome.
Yeah, they're good. I love the walk program by Denise Austin. Great for every level. Mom and Lauren might like it. Kids can do it too.
Lauren is hiking around with a
I don't
35-pound like Lauren. Lauren's ripped. Like she's got 100% belly.
Fit with
and
my weight vest is Anya in the backpack.
Yeah, she's like walking around with full body armor on her back or a ruck on her back doing farm chores. And let me tell you, like today, throwing around those 5-gallon jugs full of milk, like lifting them up this high to get on the truck. The truck's way higher than the side by side.
One ding.
And it's like doing a lateral raise with, I don't know, what's 5 gallons of milk weigh?
40 pounds.
40 pounds.
I think they're 8 pounds each.
It's not fun.
No.
Not fun. So, and then carrying them out to the truck and all that stuff. So,
life update. Our side-by-side broke again.
Oh, yeah.
What day did that happen?
That happened Tuesday? 3 days ago.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're wondering why Jason's having to schlep buckets on the truck, this side-by-side, man, it
was bulletproof
thing
for 2 years.
Another brand new machine when we got it 2 years ago. And holy smokes, we went to feed the pigs a couple days ago in the morning and loaded it up like we always do. It wasn't extra weight, wasn't anything special.
I started it up. I started it, went 20 feet, and it blew a hole in the engine block on the bottom.
And stopped.
Like lost compression, oil pouring out. Luckily, I bought an extended warranty, so we're covered till 2026. But like all things post-COVID, everything sucks. Like air travel has never recovered. The post office never recovered. Like nothing has recovered.
Service turnaround time.
Everything is
terrible. I mean, it's our local place could get it in a lot sooner, but we'd be out of pocket because they don't accept our warranty, which would be several $1,000s. Or we can wait a month, bring it to the place where Jason bought it, which is an hour away. Warranty covers it, but wait a month. Which right now we need to wait a month because we don't have the several $1,000s to eat it.
Right.
What's the link? Oh, is that this walk program?
Program?
Yeah. So now he's having to use the big old truck to run the pigs.
Which that's what I bought the truck for. I bought the truck to be able to do anything on the farm. And right now it hasn't been raining, so it's more than fine.
Yeah. If we get the rain, then we're screwed.
Yeah, well, we're getting some rain tomorrow. And we just have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
I've got a cable, I've got a winch on it, and I might be winching my way up the hill.
Yeah. Anyways.
So anyways, the other thing for those of you guys who are friends of the show and the family, Valkyrie has had a bad health turn. You want to talk about that, Lauren?
Sure. So she's still with us, which we weren't quite sure as of Sunday night that she would. She's kind of over the last 6 months or so developed glaucoma, and her eyes are getting pretty cloudy and kind of bloodshot looking. And I had taken her in for her annual, I don't know, a month ago, and they, we all concurred she could still see, but it wasn't painful or anything. And on Sunday night or Sunday, like evening at dinner time, I let the dogs out to go to the house to get their dinner, and Valkyrie was just standing there in the living room, like looking totally confused. And I looked at her, it's like, Valkyrie, come here. And she starts like high stepping and then runs into the wall. And then like makes it into the kitchen and then runs into the dishwasher. And so blind as a bat. Out of nowhere. So like instant blindness. And we're like, well, we can't manage a blind dog. We're going to probably have to be putting her down tomorrow. So we were preparing for that, trying to find someone to come and put her down at the house. And then a couple hours later, went to let the dogs out to go pee. She could see again. Like, okay. And then Monday she was fine. And then Tuesday she had another episode, like same thing in the evening, 4 hours or so, blind. Then it came back. And then since then, she had another episode that started the following day, and it's not really gone away. It kind of like fluctuates to probably almost blind to blind. Like she's kind of going back and forth. Clearly can't see well at all, even when it does come back some. because she's bumping into things still, but she's starting to kind of get the hang of it. So right now we're having to make the decision of how long can we manage a blind dog for. She doesn't seem uncomfortable, like she was just roughhousing with Odin in here. But yeah, so it's we're at that decision point of how much do you adjust your life to manage kind of the senior symptoms in a dog. And I think for both of us, if she seemed painful or scared about this to the point that her personality changed, things like that, then the decision would be made.
Strength and honor, Claudia.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
But for now, the knee-jerk decision of we can't have a blind dog, she's going to have to be put down, has kind of calmed down a little bit to let's see.
Because she's not
how
snappy, right? Like she's not panicked. She's not like, if she was blind and panicked, we couldn't have her around.
Well,
the
and she
kids.
also, I mean, she knows his house so well and like how to get out to the yard that even though I don't think that she can see much at all, she's managing herself pretty well. Like if we were having to babysit her constantly,
There's no way we could do
and
it.
like walk her everywhere out in the yard, we just couldn't do it. But like she's still managing to go out and go, pee by herself, and just needs a little help sometimes in finding exactly where the door is. So we'll see. But Valkyrie might be on her last hurrah. So send your love vibes to Valkyrie, but it's not as immediate as we thought it was going to be on Sunday.
But as far as the rest of the farm, no casualties this week.
We lost one ranger chick for
All right,
some
a
reason.
ranger
I don't know
chick,
why.
But the rest of it has been great. The pigs are doing great. Everything's doing great.
Yeah.
It has been. It's been the hottest week of the year.
Yeah, it's been very hot.
Here in Tennessee. I'm really looking forward to fall.
This is not complaining about the summer comment.
Right. I vowed after the winter we had, I wouldn't complain about the summer. So I'm not going to complain, but I really love
looking
fall.
forward to the fall.
I really love fall, and I can't wait for fall.
The only reason that I'm like summer stick around is I'm not ready to be in newborn baby stage.
Oh, yeah.
And fall means newborn baby stage, and I'm a little scared about that.
Yeah, well, October 23rd?
Ish.
October 23rd-ish.
Ish. Yep.
Magnus Luther will be here on the scene.
And life goes boom. I don't
know what you're talking
I have
about.
No
He's
idea.
going to come out potty trained.
Body training, ready
speaking,
for chores.
And ready for chores.
Yeah.
He's going to come out of the womb saying, give me a task.
Right. Just
I'm
like
ready
that.
to work, Dad.
Yeah,
Put me
just
to
like
work.
that.
Yep. Ready to work.
I don't know. I'll be milking only one cow when he's born, but then Noelle is having her own baby like 2 weeks after. So we're going to be newborn babying it together.
Well, you guys will
Which will
have
be-
that in common. It'll be a bonding.
Yeah. But after seeing what it was like getting Gracie ramped back up, it's like,
Well, the other good news is that my mom is out of her house. She did not start driving today. The banking and imagine that. Imagine
Canadian bank.
Canadian banks suck like Canadian medicine sucks, like everything else in Canada sucks, right? So basically, socialism sucks. And so everything went really slow and it's taking way longer, but she is going to be leaving at first light. And we'll hopefully be here, I guess,
So
Monday,
sometime
Tuesday. now.
Monday.
Yeah.
Well, because she was going to be leaving midday today and just getting like the first 8 hours kind of to get into Maine.
Yeah.
And we thought if she like really pushed it, she was going to be here Sunday night. So I still think late Monday is still.
Monday would be great.
Yeah.
I'm taking Monday off from the Hope Report to help prepare for her. We're going to have to accommodate her in some crazy
Yeah. So the
situation.
biggest switch with that is that she had envisioned that she was going to get her house check. She was going to deposit it. She was going to wire it to us promptly. And this weekend while she was driving, would be taking that money from our account and buying her RV. And the bank said that because of the like sudden nature of the transfer and all of that stuff, wiring it would likely be flagged for fraud and take like sit on the money for review for
Like a month.
weeks. And then, so the alternative was doing a draft or something like that. And it's still going to be how many days? 10
I
days?
think 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks until she has her. So we have to figure out how to accommodate her and her three little dogs, which has always been a no in our house. Understanding now for 2 weeks. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So I got a question to the firearms people out there. I'm really looking for a good farm handgun to do the pigs and do the cows with. And I really was looking at a Raging Judge. And
thanks, Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia. The Raging Judge is a revolver that I think shoots 45 410 shotgun shells and 454 Casull. It's a really impressive gun. They're just pretty expensive right now, but with that, you can pretty much kill anything you need to on the farm. You can put 410 slug to do
nothing else you have as an option.
Everything else is going to over penetrate like wool. Right. So, I'm also looking, I could get a cheap 410 shotgun. But really looking at, if anyone's had a Judge, or a Governor, which is the Smith & Wesson version of Smith & Wesson, it just doesn't have that third caliber, which is the 454 Casull, which will take down a bear, which might be helpful taking down one of our bulls. I don't know.
You think a bull is going to be different than a cow?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. All that testosterone, all that. You see how big their heads are?
Does that equate to a thicker skull?
Thicker skull.
I don't know. Like, are you guessing?
I just want to make sure that my animals don't suffer.
Sure.
So I'm just trying to figure out the best way to go about that. We are waiting until it gets cooler, or you might be paying a shop to do that. Now, tomorrow we're going to the farmers market in, what's it called?
Abingdon, Virginia, right across the line in Virginia.
About almost an hour away. We're doing that. It's the largest farmers market in the area, just to see what people are charging for pork and pork chops and hamburger and tender, like all the products that we're going to have. We want to see what the going rate is and how they're packaging them and what they're doing. So we may come home with stuff. We may try a couple different sausage types to see which type we like and kind of go with that. Again, the other good news is I have a friend from Boston that is seriously considering moving down here and is flying back down here the middle of August to look at property and houses here. I told him all it takes is a weekend here in Johnson City, Tennessee, and you're never going to want to go back. And he was like, you were right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's looking at possibly selling his business, selling everything, and coming down here.
That's awesome.
And starting over with and around us.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Super excited about that. And, really hope that more of our northern, yes, it'll be a great day. Really hoping that our northern friends who have been down here, have seen this or are curious about this, will consider relocating down here. It's a way better life. I can't tell you. I mean, it's not heaven. Heaven is heaven, right?
Yeah, certainly not heaven.
It is amazing. And I've lived all over this country. I lived on the East Coast. I lived on the West Coast. I lived in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Massachusetts, Maine. I'm sure there's several other places in there that I've been to. Arkansas, spent time in Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana,
Kansas, Palm Springs, California. I've been a lot of places, and there's nothing like it here. Nothing like it for the price, right? You're not getting in on the ground level anymore, right? The ground level was pre-COVID, right? It was pre-COVID. We got in on the first floor. So now it's the second floor, but this place is going to be a skyscraper someday.
and you're not going to regret investing here. We have, yes, Acadia National Park in Maine is great. It's just
One of the only pretty parts.
exactly. There's like 3 pretty parts in all of Maine.
So excessively
And-
crowded.
Really crowded. Traffic's a nightmare. Like everyone thinks Maine is going to be like back roads and great, and all it is like Boston, New York traffic on crappy roads.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was so heartbroken by Maine. I wanted to love Maine with everything I had, and I went there, and it was awful. Even Lauren,
Everyone's heard that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy we're not there.
you know, with Watauga Lake here, you're talking about the third cleanest lake in the country. It is massively undeveloped. It had one restaurant on it that was amazing. A restaurant conglomerate bought it.
Mhm.
That has had several like really
Barbecue place.
barbecue places and other types of places here. And before it could open, it burned down. And,
Yeah, about a month
ago.
ago.
About
a month ago, it burned down
So,
right
you
before the
know,
summer started.
It is, I mean, there's nothing but sky's the limit here. So, as far as an opportunity, your property value is only going to go up. The more Northerners that come here, the more wages rise and the more people are willing to pay for quality goods. The locals won't,
Yeah,
but
that's certainly what we're
we
finding.
hang out with far more. Well, I mean, that's actually changing now. I'm hanging out with more locals now than non-locals. And I hang out
It's
with
about an even
Charlie,
mix.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
and
Is Jimmy from here?
yeah,
Okay.
and Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm spending most of my time with locals now.
Oh, man.
But some of our best friends, the Johnsons, the transplants
Yeah.
from California and Colorado,
Yeah.
and the rest of it. So get here as fast as you can because it's only going to get pricier,
Mm-hmm.
But we are developing a good network. Like Jimmy has been Johnny on the spot for us.
God's given us people who remain faithful and useful. Yeah.
Tyler's been great.
Mm-hmm.
Have another strong back here. I'm actually going, so I'm not canceling church. I'm doing church at 4:00, but because we do one service, we do it at 4 p.m. I am trying to integrate our family into another church community in the morning so that B can hang out with church kids. Lauren can be more like-minded women, that are, let's face it, Patriot Warrior Church tends to draw a certain crowd, and it's usually not childbearing age women, right, with families and kids. So, so we're going to try the Conservative Presbyterian Church here downtown. They have failed the test that I gave them, that I give all churches. I tuned in on Memorial Day to check their service, and no mention of things that I think are important. And I've checked 4th of July, same thing. I haven't checked 9/11, but I'm sure if they miss those 2 days, and we're talking about barbecues,
What is the Bristol church that our friends go to? Is that a Presbyterian church?
that's also a Presbyterian
So do you
church.
think they ascribe to the same philosophy of recognizing a holiday does not worship the Lord?
Yeah,
So therefore don't mention it.
they may. I just think that sucks and is shallow and
Just-
short, and it's such a layup. Why not?
Yeah.
Dunk on it.
It is. I mean, I think we had this conversation on
last
air a
week.
couple weeks ago. Yeah, after that conversation happened with us. But yeah, I was wondering if they're Presbyterian also, so that might be the connection.
So I'll let you know how it goes. I'm going to scout it. I don't know if Lauren and the kids are going to come first attempt.
We'll see.
All right, we'll
Open
see.
to it.
We'll see how the morning goes.
Open
I think
to
it's
it.
11 o'clock service or something
Mhm.
like that. So again, church will be at 4 p.m. as it is every Sunday, but I will be going to that church to check it out, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I think if we find the right fit, it'll be good.
I don't think it can hurt.
No.
I just don't think it can hurt. As far as we have our active shooter class still planned on September 2nd. I will be in Richmond in August doing active shooter training as well.
All right. So, John, circling back on your gun question.
Yeah, I've been looking at one, John. I've been looking for them. They're just so overpriced right now. They're over MSRP, I've been looking at Guns America and the other one out there. I can't remember
So
the
when it
other
says
one.
find one on consignment, is that to get around the pricing? Like,
Yeah, it's a used one.
Yeah.
Someone who bought it for the novelty and isn't using it the same way. But that's really what I'm looking for as far, because when you think about it, on the farm, you could carry that and you could mix your stack and you could put 410 birdshot in there to kill copperheads when you came across them, and you get the 45 long Colt to do whatever, it's a great man kill around. And then the 454 will drop a black bear or a raging bull or whatever. I mean, it's a monster around. So that's the thought process.
But not so monster that like it's too much for the pigs or anything. Or
no,
would
because you would use the
you
410.
would use the 410 for the
410
pigs.
slug.
Okay.
Instead of the birdshot, right? Which slugs move slower. They're not. You don't have to worry about ricochet. You don't have to worry about a bunch of other stuff. And so everyone I know that's been using 410 is very happy.
Gotcha.
So so we'll see. We are looking at going to a local butcher. A non USDA butcher.
A backyard butcher.
Yeah, backyard
Just
butcher
someone who
to
could do it
process our pigs for us in Pixie Forest, because it'll be the first pig will be for us, and so will the first.
Mhm.
So will Pixie.
Yeah.
So Gammer says she is beautiful. So not sure what that means. If Lauren's beautiful, I agree.
I'll reserve comment.
If you're talking about, I don't know what else,
No.
But-
I don't know.
but all good. As far as things that I'm seeing politically right now, I am seeing DeSantis starting to pick up in his social media presence, his coverage as campaign season ramps up. The things that I want to talk to you guys about, you guys need to prepare for, is there is going to be another race bait.
Well, so do you think this whole thing that's going on with the curriculum,
It's so stupid.
how is he handling it? Has he weighed in defense of it, or?
He just said that you're judging an entire curriculum by one sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break.
So
wrote
he's
a
responding
patriotic-
to the attacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the most ridiculous thing. And let me tell you something. Tim Scott just pig-piled on this. I'm so tired of, I just watched Tony Evans and Kirk Franklin pile on in this too, talking about how white America has got a problem with, has to take racism and everything else more serious. Well, I'm going to say something here that's probably going to be very unpopular. Black on white crime is rampant. Brown on white crime is rampant. It is the norm, not the exception. Like the other way is so minuscule, I've never seen it. Right? And everyone acts like, because one cop makes a bad decision or one bad guy in the back street, with somebody running, whatever, does one thing. When I can pull up tens of thousands of hours of blacks victimizing whites.
Mm-hmm.
Unending footage.
Oh, yeah.
Of group beatdowns, muggings, carjackings, flash mobs robbing, just crime incarnate. And no one holds the black community accountable, period. No one.
Yeah.
I'm with a bunch of, black and brown pastors in Mordecai Mission, and they're speaking truth about this.
Okay.
And
Good.
that's why I'm there. Right? Somebody is going to answer the call in the room, that they're going to address the realities of it, right? Like everyone wants to talk about, like they're going to talk about, yeah, dude, Brandy, well,
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
they bury the statistics because they don't want you to know.
Of course.
They don't want you to know how terrifying and how bad brown on white violence is. Now, that's not racist. That's a statistic. It's a fact.
Well, and we were talking, the only time that they are willing to acknowledge it is when it benefits them to then blame systemic racism as the excuse for why that stuff happens.
No. Inside of every color group, the spectrum of violence on violence is like more white people commit crime versus white people. Blacks, I think I saw some crazy said 95% of all violence against blacks is done by blacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whites on whites, Asians on Asians,
Sure.
Hispanics on Hispanics. But, I'm so tired of this one-way narrative of pandering to a certain community out there to where they can just do whatever they want. They just get the excuse. They can act irresponsibly. They can steal. They can clean out Walmarts. They can clean out the dollar store. They can go rob whatever they want. They can beat up whoever they want. They can rape whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. Well, because slavery 200 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just gotten to the point where I can't stand it anymore. My job as a risk professional is to talk and speak truth. Right? And it's to speak truth. So that's the reality of it. If you're going through a neighborhood where people don't look like you, that's not that your odds of something bad happening to you are much higher.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm just tired of the coddling. I'm tired of the one-way coverage. I'm tired of the false narrative. I'm tired of the false narrative of, everybody who looks like me is bad when that's not the case at all.
Right.
And, that statement's going to cost me people. It'll probably cost me, contracts and jobs and everything else, but it's a fact. It is a fact. The black community, which is 13% of the community, does over 50% of the murders.
Mm-hmm.
13%, and out of that 13%, it's actually mostly the 6.5% that are black males.
Right.
Do
Sure.
50% of the murders.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
That is insane. Candace Owens is going to cover this, to its exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kirk is now doing it too because we're so tired of it. And here's the thing. How many disgusting rap songs are there out there about, I didn't think that anything could get worse than Cardi B and WAP.
Yeah.
But then there's like
some horrible,
Bang Town or Pound Town
it's horrible
things that I just saw out there because I ended up going down this rabbit hole because, they're Jason Aldean, try this in a small town.
Yeah.
Which is like the most vanilla thing ever. But how dare you show, footage of the BLM riots?
Did you see that they edited the video?
They edited. Yeah, I heard they edited.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm so tired of the double standard. So tired of it. Like, how long are we going to tolerate this?
What's the recourse?
The recourse is stop giving them your money.
Them being who?
The NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball,
the
CMT,
institutions pushing the narrative.
Nike, all of them. Cease and desist.
Mm-hmm.
Find people who share your values and spend your money there. Like, seriously, anyone watching my channel who still watches sports, you don't get it? You haven't heard it long enough? Like, you're a traitor. You're literally a traitor. You're a traitor to this country, and you put your darn entertainment over your values. and you are sabotaging yourself. So
That's going to get you more angst than what you previously said.
but it's the truth. It's like
Mhm.
swimming with two hands tied behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, oh, it's just entertainment. Is it? Is it? Your eyeballs and the advertising and what you're doing, you are supporting the most anti-American, anti-Christian agenda ever. That's the NFL. That's Major League Baseball. That's the NBA. That's the NHL. Pick one. College, same thing. They're even worse.
You say college is worse just because the college institutions are so
Yeah, because colleges
woke
have
in
been
general.
woke and have been brainwashing our children and ruining our country for 50 years now.
Mm-hmm.
You got that right, Brandy. It is communist entertainment. So I noticed as soon as I said what I said, our viewers dropped to half.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good
As soon
coincidence.
as I brought up, black on white violence,
I
we
wouldn't
lost
think
half
that
our
I wouldn't
viewers.
think that the people watching would be ones that would care, though.
Well, the ones that we know, but the other ones that
Yeah.
didn't know, they tuned out. Here's a key. Everyone is racist in some way. Everyone has preferences in some way. Some people like blondes. Some people like brunettes. My wife's a brunette. So am I a blondist because I prefer a brunette? I guess so.
So that's an ist, but not necessarily a racist.
Well, that's one form of it. So I prefer people who share my culture.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to be around them. People love America. I don't care their skin color.
Yeah.
Right? But if you cherish what I cherish, which is God, family, and country, we're going to get along great.
Mm-hmm.
There's no division.
Yep.
Now, if you don't do those, we're not going to enjoy each other's company.
Right.
Can we be cordial? Sure. Should we be polite? Absolutely. But if you're not about those things, you're not going to enjoy your time with me, and I'm not going to enjoy your time with you.
Mm-hmm. We have many of those examples. Unnamed.
And life's too short to be fake. Life's too short to not go all in on the people who are most important to you. And there's no time for the pretenders and the grifters and people who don't share your values.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone who says they love Jesus Christ would stop doing things and stop supporting institutions that are counter-Christian, the world would change overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone who donates to Planned Parenthood and supports Planned, find out what that corporations are, stop spending money there.
Yeah.
They'll be out of business with all the Christians in America within a week, within a couple months.
Yeah, we certainly don't use power for the supposed
What
numbers.
we did
in
on
this
Bud
group.
Light, one brand.
Yeah.
And Target. So what I was talking about is there's going to be a race bait. There's going to be racial violence. There's an election coming up. It's a presidential election. So they're going to stir that. The next cop or the next person who looks like you or me and makes a bad decision, they're going to be crucified. They're going to make a martyr. I mean, George Floyd, one of the biggest turds on the face of the planet, laid in repose in the capital of the United States like a war hero.
Our war heroes don't get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that's going to happen. Or they're going to add a layer to this, and I think it's going to be an LGBTQ event.
In what way?
They're going to incite I saw a crazy stat that out of Gen Z, how many of them identify as trans, bi, queer
Mm-hmm.
now. So what their next ploy is going to be is that hate against them, an attack against them, which will mobilize the Rainbow Coalition,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to be coming. and that is going to also be pig piled on now.
Sure.
Race isn't
Makes
enough
sense.
anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you work for a company, you labor as if you're laboring for the Lord, and you need your job. You got to do what you got to do. I don't have a problem when you say Chinese customers, Brandy. I don't have a problem with the Chinese people. I have a problem with the Chinese government.
Mhm.
So if they're Chinese people in America who are Chinese people in America, are some of the most successful pro-Americans out there. Right. That's why this whole race thing is a complete fallacy. I heard this the other day. The number one most highest grossing salary race is Indian.
Mhm. Highest grossing.
Yeah. Per
Indian.
capita, they make the most money
Okay.
in the U.S. That is Chinese.
So these are those nationalities within
Yes.
the U.S. Okay.
Yeah, and within the U.S.
Okay.
So the
Indian
first
and Chinese.
two are Indian and Chinese now.
Okay.
And now, guess what? So it ain't white America.
Yeah.
In fact, there's more poor white people than anything in the country.
Believe it. Living down here now.
We see it here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen the dirt floor houses and people who power their house with an extension cord.
Mm-hmm.
So as we get closer to the election, be ready for that. And you don't want to be going anywhere. I mean, it's gotten to the point now as preppers and as responsible patriots and citizens that we have to. I wouldn't even drive through a deep blue town city anymore. What's that?
He's good at that. John says, "Hey, brother, I tried to use my Friday nights for winding down. You just shot me out of a cannon."
Sorry, John.
Good old Jason tirade.
Sorry.
It's good for that.
Sorry.
I'm sure everyone needs a dose of it now and then.
No, it's just so darn frustrating. Like literally, I saw two black Christians, one a pastor and one a gospel singer, and then two other pastors acting like the Christian church has some massive responsibility to deal with, the black problem. And I'm sorry, the black community has to fix the black problem. Their culture right now is
that's
complete
right. They're
garbage.
not letting us have any influence on it. So
Right.
yes,
Well,
they
their
have.
culture right now is complete garbage. It's
Yeah,
a rap
largely.
gangster community, and until they get rid of that,
Mm-hmm.
until fatherless families and until drugs and violence isn't being celebrated in your music. Now we have that too,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that isn't the mainstay of our culture.
Sure.
That's why they're coming so hard at Jason Aldean, because country western music is our culture.
Mm-hmm.
But my brothers that are in the community, they got to fix this. I can't go into that community. I tried it as a cop.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteered for the worst of the worst neighborhoods to
Yeah.
try to do that, and was still treated like the enemy, even though risking my life for countless people there every day. One of my best friends is black, and he said it straight. He's like, that culture has nothing of value to me.
Yeah, he's
told me,
He
like,
wants
there is
nothing to do with
nothing there for me. It is a wasteland of sin that'll suck me down into hell. There's nothing of value in it.
Mm-hmm. He disassociates himself as much as he can.
Entirely.
Yeah.
And I've got more in common with him than most people who look like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even, that never enters my mind what he is. But now that's right. If you don't see color, that's considered racist.
Right.
I heard that's the new thing. You don't see color, that's racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're supposed to acknowledge their
I'm supposed to acknowledge my privilege.
minority status.
My welfare
Yes.
coming
Yeah.
up, GED having privilege.
Yeah. Yeah. The only time that his color comes up is because every time that B sees another black person, she's like, "It's Mr. Warren." We're working on that one.
Yeah, we're working
That's
on
the
that.
only time it comes up.
But I love that family. In fact, if we would have died tomorrow, I'd want them raising my kids.
Yeah. 100%.
But this is the thing. They got to get us to hate ourselves, hate our culture, hate our country. And they're succeeding when I don't think my military service was worth it. And all my brothers who died defending this country was worth it. When I don't want my children serving in this military for this country anymore, they've won.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's at right now. I didn't die so they can mutilate children. I didn't die so a bunch of Democrats in blue towns can make misgendering
serve?
somebody a felony.
Do you mean serve? You didn't
Yeah, I didn't
serve.
serve. What'd I say?
Die.
Oh, sorry, serve. Sorry. You got that right. That's not the way it is down here in Tennessee. We don't kill babies in Tennessee anymore, and we don't mutilate children anymore.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Where this is a free country, and where you stay, right? What happened with Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot? Called out of it. Not stay there and change it. Get out of there.
Mm.
Even Jesus himself, he's born, flee to Egypt. Why? Because Herod's going to kill everyone. It's totally depraved. It's totally, and there'll be a time to come back. And that's what we need to do. We need to consolidate our power here in our communities and rebuild our communities here and strengthen our faith in one another. We're so used to living in neighborhoods as conservatives and as Christian conservatives where we know our neighbors hate us.
Mm-hmm.
They put signs up that show us they hate us.
They have their signs up, but we're not allowed to put ours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In this house, we believe. Blank, 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 blank. It was the most maddening thing when I was in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best thing that could ever happen to us. If we had moved to some like town, I wouldn't even have known, but it was everywhere where we lived. Every darn house.
Yep. Good old Bangor.
Freeport is the only place where I've ever been accosted by a liberal.
Yeah. Multiple times, right?
Multiple times.
Yep.
Just hanging out with dudes at a table. Big
Oh.
dudes.
Yeah, and that floored my mom. She
Yeah.
thought that Maine was so tolerant.
Yeah,
It was
right.
one way.
Only one way.
one way. We did. That was the only good part.
That was the only good part of me.
God restored our
God showed me that you
bad
didn't have to
decision.
be a complete beta male to be a pastor. You didn't have to be a spineless worm to be a pastor. You could be a man with a backbone and a warrior for God. That was the best gift that Maine gave us.
God said, here they are ignoring me. They're going to Maine. I'll make it worth it for them.
Yeah. I definitely forced that. I forced it for the relationship with Ken in the hope of building a family that in the end hated me. So,
Hate some of the convictions.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there.
yeah.
Whenever you're done with this shooting people out of a cannon conversation, we watched Nefarious after
Oh,
this.
go. Yeah, let's change. I'd like to go to something lighter.
So raise your
I
hand
wanna
if you've heard of and or watched the movie Nefarious. I hadn't heard of it. Did you only hear of it because of Melissa?
No, it's
Yeah.
been big in the Christian world.
Okay. So it is a movie that was in the theaters a couple of months ago, right? But no longer in the theater.
Yeah, it's no longer in the theater. It's now on all platforms, I think.
Yeah. So definitely watch it. It's very
Very good.
thought-provoking, intriguing. The way they did it was great. Movie about a serial killer who's on the day of his execution in prison, and a psychologist has to come in to confirm
An atheist psychologist.
whether or not he is crazy and therefore cannot be executed, or whether they can move forward with it. And so, yeah, so the entire movie essentially is this just conversation that they have in prison on, and the serial killer is claiming to be a demon. And so it's kind of the host person, human, and then a demon is the one who's talking most of the time, to this atheist liberal psychologist. And it's
amazing.
It's very, I mean, they call it a thriller, and there's a few parts that are like, oh, like what's gonna
It's
happen.
Silence of the Lambs, kind of a Silence of the Lambs-esque, without any real violence.
There's like
without
a
any
few like
blood.
ew kind of things, but really, really good. And the way that they like worked in clearly modern day societal, cultural issues like abortion and physician assisted suicide and things like that.
It's a modern day
really
Screw
good.
Tape Letters. It really was good. And the guy who did the acting of the possessed guy,
Fantastic.
he should get an Academy Award. He was amazing.
Yeah.
He was in the last time I saw him was in Boondock Saints. It's one of the brothers in Boondock Saints. Sean Michael Flannery or something like that. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So go watch it. We watched it last weekend.
Like, there are so many movies I'm disappointed in. Again, I thought Sound of Music.
It's called Nefarious.
Nefarious. If you Google it, Brandy, it'll fix it.
Nefarious. Nefarious.
Yeah, Nefarious. And it is well worth your time. I thought it was a better movie than Sound of Freedom,
which I still haven't seen. So I'll take your word for it.
Sound of Freedom is more passionate because of the victims. But again, like I said, I
Would
give
you
it a
say
7.
is that a fair kind of apples to apples, because they're totally different in
They're both thriller-esque
goals though? Like
they're both thriller-esque. The acting I thought was way better. I mean, just because the guy who played the demon, possessed guy, was so lights out. Now, again, Sound of Freedom was good. I just felt like they went in an effort to be palatable to everywhere, which, because it's so palatable, it was just viewed in Congress and a lot of people are seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
They probably made a tactical decision, but it didn't scar me like Saving Private Ryan or Jaws or some other movies that, I'll forget about Sound of Freedom and by next year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my only bust on that.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys are looking for a movie to watch on your weekend, we watched it on Prime, right? We rented it on Prime.
Yeah, we rented it on Prime. If you guys could do me a massive favor and hit the like button. We get a lot of comments over here on Facebook and YouTube. If you guys could smash the like button, that would really help us. We're trying to grow our audience on Rumble as well. So don't be afraid to go over to Rumble and subscribe to us over there. I will be streaming everything on Rumble now. I figured it out.
Good.
I have to create a custom feed everywhere.
Okay. Well, so just curious what you think about John's comment. So he said, I haven't seen it. I don't want to bring anything demonic into my mind. Don't want to give Satan even 1 second.
It's not like that. Just like it doesn't glorify it. It doesn't do any of that. It shows you the enemy's tactics.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it opens a playbook for you to see how they manipulate and how tolerant society is. And if anything, it was so thought-provoking, it made me understand how abortion wounds Christ even more. They just do a really good job describing some things in some context that made it hit extra hard.
Yeah.
Like how atrocious, like the demon says one part, how it must grieve the carpenter. That's how he refers to
Jesus Carpenter.
To know that babies are being torn apart in their own mother's wombs by their mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and so like he starts the
so good.
the conversation with this guy of, today you're going to commit 3 murders before you leave here tonight. And, you know, so you immediately are like, is he going to possess this guy and like make him go crazy? Like, and, but then it's these more subtle things. And then he talks about the psychologist's mom choosing to do this physician assisted suicide, which the son supported. And then the girlfriend getting an abortion. And so just the way that those acts by God are viewed as murder.
Yeah.
You know, as we often like, we think of the 10 Commandments and we're like, oh, well, I haven't murdered anybody, you know, or,
Like,
you know, so like
sure about
of
that?
all of I mean, the ways that our society has just accepted acts that when it boils down to it, yep, that's murder. And yeah, so I just, I didn't see, like, nothing kind of clung in my mind as an opening for the devil or anything like that. As far as that concerned, John.
No, the framing of it was brilliant. It was, like I said, it's just like screw tape letters. You see the enemy, and they talk about the slippery slope to getting possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They talk about the decisions and building on bigger, slow decision making.
Well, and also that they start with children, right? So that
Yeah,
was,
they start with, so one of the most powerful things he said, which I thought was like, huh. He said, we started on, you know, so-and-so.
the host
Yeah.
body person.
Right. You know, because he wasn't baptized, we were able to start working on him before the age of consent, before he could like actually understand what he was doing. And I'm just like,
which that I'm sure is
baptism, like that just like drove some points.
But
home.
so, I mean, I would say that most of the examples that they gave, like that the storyline that they chose, were things that the church would agree on.
Yes.
That
there's a very large
piece,
portion of the church that would agree with that. Just not.
I was going to say, but that
Chapel.
piece about baptism and age and
Paedo Baptists agree
susceptibility,
with that.
like that part would be kind of an inner church
Squabble
versus like the other things, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that was one of the only divisive things I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, one of the great things was, and again, I'm not trying to do spoiler alerts on anything, just trying to alleviate John's thing, is, you know, a priest comes in and he's terrified of the priest until the priest is like a woke priest, and he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I should have let you in here a long time ago. I kind of like you.
Yeah.
You know, and just showing how, because he was woke and because he didn't really believe the Bible, you know, doesn't believe so much of it. He's like, oh,
possession.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't believe in any of this stuff. And he's just like, oh, okay.
We're good to go.
But when he walked in, he's like, whoa, get out of here. This isn't for you. And then he's like, oh, you're already on your way here.
Anyways, go watch it. It's worth your time.
Well worth your time. Nefarious, go see it. I also think that everyone in America should see The Sound of Freedom. I think it's a really good movie.
When it comes out.
And I think us giving the bird to Hollywood and saying, hey, we're not going to support your crap. We're going to support our own stuff and our own production companies. And the people who made Nefarious are a Christian production company as well. It's not Angel Studios, which is Mormon. But again, they've done a lot of good stuff, right? I think The Chosen has broken away from Angel Studios.
They did.
Entirely.
But they're now they now have a distributing relationship with, is it Lionsgate? Like one of the more,
one of the big ones.
Yeah. But they're saying that there's zero influence there. It's just a distributing partner. Whereas Angel, I think, was a little bit more involved.
I agree. You got almost a whole year to get ready for it, Brandy. Again, I think our whatever happened to our civics classes. I remember in middle school going through civics classes in American government and understanding the branches of government and how laws were passed. Like, was that civics, or what would that be called now? Did you do that? Did you do that in communist Maine?
I had civics. Yeah, I don't recall like how deep a dive we did, but yeah, that was we had civics.
But I mean, you were a love is love person. I was never a love is love person. You know,
Yeah.
you were a
I
pro
just-
LGBTQ brainwashy.
Mhm.
How did they get you?
Because I wasn't ever exposed to, I wasn't like a rah version of it, but that was just the default position to be in if you were not guided or exposed to anything counter.
Right.
So
If
as
you
soon
weren't-
as I was exposed to, like, I wasn't so entrenched in it, that I refused to come out of it, or it did not take me much convincing at all to like open my eyes and see the other way. But that was
Right.
unless you were raised in a conservative family or you went to church or any of it, then your default
Unless you knew
position
God's
was
law.
going to be
Yeah.
somewhere on the liberal spectrum.
Like the assumption of
Yeah.
you're going to be cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, so well, we have hit over an hour. As always, I'm always so glad when we come on here, even though I may come limping on, and I might have been
Limping
5
and
minutes
yawning.
before this thing, or actually maybe 5 minutes past supposed to be on this thing, lying in bed saying I can't even get up. But
Looking
I'm
longingly
so
at the
glad
pillow.
that we're here.
Yes, I have, Brandy. Thank you.
It is daily, yeah. Well, let me tell you something. This pastor is put in check by his wife and held accountable. Like, Lauren is the best gut your six person on this planet. Period. Like, your steadfastness, your clarity of mind, and you're willing to challenge me when I am drifting is greatly appreciated.
My pleasure.
It's
That's why I'm
awesome to
here.
be a part of, and it's the way marriage was meant to be.
Mhm.
Eve was meant to be a helper.
Mm-hmm.
You helped me more than you possibly could ever know, and I pray that for all you guys, that is your relationship, and that your structure of God, spouse, children, everything else, I hope you guys are doing that.
Derek Johnson, Army vet.
Well, check it out.
I'm trying to read the URL. The Derek Johnson executive orders Biden laptop.
Anytime I see the word prophet, Lisa gets my hackles up. I don't like people calling themselves prophets,
Oh,
but I will
prophets
check
and
it out.
patriots. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan.
Hopefully it's the patriot part of it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. But you tolerate me, and I appreciate that,
You said that to me? Or you said that to Lisa?
Lisa.
Okay. She tolerates you.
Yeah. So, but that's really all we have for you tonight. So please make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. This is a Christian Fellowship channel. That's what we talk about now. On Sundays, we do broadcast our service at 4 p.m. It's church service, line by line, verse by verse out of the Bible, with topicals occasionally. I really hope you enjoyed this. Come here, invest in us. We'll invest in you. We'll pray for you. People in this show know and have been to our home, have come spend time with us, tears with us, the whole thing. So we will 100% go all in if you go all in. So love you guys. Lauren, pray us home.
Yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this evening of fellowship. As I always say, we are so grateful for each and every person here that they set aside their Friday night to spend it with us. We pray that they enjoy it and grow from it as much as we do, Lord, and just thank you for their faithfulness. Lord, thank you this week for your covering on our farm and our family, that the stressors and the all of the things that seem to have been going wrong for us largely were put on pause and the things that did go wrong, Lord, you've already put solutions in our path. So we're just grateful as always for your intervention and your guidance on this walk that we are personally taking. Lord, from the conversation tonight, our country is hurting, and we talk about this so often, and we just pray that you open eyes and soften hearts to hear truth, to know that when words are said that can be taken as offensive and that people are so quick to jump on, Lord, that they take a moment to pause and let it resonate, let them chew on the words and actually realize that there is truth in them and that action can be taken and needs to be taken, Lord, to turn back to you and right our country in your direction. And so I just pray that it's what Jason said tonight does not turn people away, but turn people towards him and the truth and the facts of what he said. Lord, as we head into the weekend, I pray a blessing of peace and health and safety over every single person listening. May they enjoy some peaceful and blessed time with their families. And most importantly, may they spend every day the most important time with you to learn what you want for their life and to learn how that they can better serve you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, everyone. God bless you. We'll see you Sunday. Tomorrow, we're taking a day off. Bye.
Good night, guys.